And I'm so excited today to be making the Mabella Bag by Mekaposh Crafts. This is such an adorable bag. This bow just gives it life. I mean, when I first saw it, I just thought, oh my gosh, I gotta make it because I love that bow. So it is just the cutest little bag. It has a top handle. It has a large flap that has 2 magnetic snaps. It opens up to a beautifully designed interior that has a divider pocket. It has a zipper pocket. On the other side is a slip pocket. And on the back, there's another zipper pocket. So this little bag has a lot to it. So I'm so excited. Let's get our materials and get ready to sew the Mabella Bag by Mekaposh Craft. So now I'm going to introduce the pattern pieces that you'll have to cut out for your Mabella Bag. So this is this is my exterior fabric. I'm using vinyl, and this is the main panels. So you'll need 2 of those out of your exterior fabric. And then you're also going to interface those or stabilized with Decaville Heavy or something equivalent. So I'm using Decaville Heavy. And there's also some markings you have to put on the back. So 1 inch from the top of each panel, you're going to draw a line. So just center your stabilizer onto the back of each piece. This is going to be your back piece, and there's a cutout because there's going to be a zipper installed on the back piece. So make sure you know which piece you want for your front and back, and put the proper stabilizer on each piece. So these are your main pieces. Okay, you're going to need also 2 pieces from your main exterior cut for your flap. So I have 2 flap pieces here. The instructions recommend that you mark a 1/2 inch from this straight edge and 3/8 of an inch all around. It just makes it easier to sew within your seam allowance for since you're going around a lot of curves. So if you're comfortable not doing that, you don't have to do that, but it's an option to do that. So 2 flat pieces. I'm using a contrasting color for my my bottom piece. So you'll need 1 for your bottom piece, and then also it's going to be stabilized with either Decaville Heavy or Peltex or whatever you choose. Also, from your main exterior fabric, you're going to need 2 of your lining top panels. So these get attached to your lining pieces. And those also, you're going to make a mark 1 inch down from the top of both of these pieces. Okay. You'll also need these 2 pieces here from your exterior fabric, and these are your divider pocket tops. So 2 of those. You'll need to cut a piece for your handle. And then this is your slip pocket trim piece, and also your zipper overlay piece. Okay. There, for that cute bow on the front, you have these pieces. So you're going to need, I'm using a contrasting color again, so you're going to need 1 of this bow panel, and then 1 of this one, and then you'll have this piece as well. And then the final piece for your bow is the binder piece. So you should have 4 pieces cut for making the bow. For your lining pieces, again, I'm using waterproof canvas. You'll need your 2 main lining pieces. So if you're using cotton, don't forget to interface with a woven interfacing. So I'm using waterproof canvas. Obviously I won't need any interfacing. So I have 2 of the main lining pieces. This is the bottom piece. You have that top lining piece that goes on. You'll need 2 pieces for your interior zipper pocket. You'll need 1 piece here cut for your exterior zipper pocket, and then also for your slip pocket. And then these 2 pieces are for your divider pocket. And then finally you have your zipper facing for the exterior zipper pocket. And there's measurements there for you to mark out where you're going to sew your zipper. So that's the lining piece. The last piece of stabilizer is for your flap. So I'm using Decaville Heavy, and I have these lines marked because you want to crease in those areas, because that's going to give your flap the shape. So you can use Decaville Heavy, you can use Peltex, but like I said, I'm using Decaville Heavy. And this is going to be inserted into the flap after it's already sewn together. So that's why I don't have this already attached to my flap pieces. So that's it as far as the pieces go, the pattern pieces. As far as hardware, there's not a whole lot. So we're going to have, obviously, we need some zipper tape. So I'm using number 5 zipper tape. You're going to, this is enough. I need, I believe you need 1 9-inch piece for your divider pocket, 1 8-inch piece for your back zipper pocket, and 1 8-inch piece for your interior zipper pocket. And then you will also need the zipper pulls to go along with that. So you will need 3 zipper pulls. So I have the 3 zipper pulls here. For the flap closure, you'll need 2 sets of magnetic snaps. I'm using these with the prongs. They have some that are installed with rivets. So I have 2 sets of those. For the side connectors, you need these bridge connectors. I have these 2. There's so many different choices of bridge connectors. So these get installed on the side for you to attach your chain strap. And I have my chain strap. So at least a 43-inch chain. She also has instructions for you to add vinyl to your chain. I'm not adding any to this one because this is really the links are kind of tight on this one. So I'm not going to be adding the vinyl to this chain. But if you're going to do that, just get you a chain that has a little wider link so that you can insert the vinyl into your chain. Okay, and if you buy chain without these swivel hooks, just you can get add the swivel hooks to your chain. So she does have that as material on the materials list. Okay, and then you'll also need a couple of rivets. So I have these are 9mm rivets. So as you can see, there's not a whole lot of hardware, not even really a whole lot of pieces. And I think this is going to go together fairly quickly. So without any further delay, let's get started making our Mabella bag by Mekaposh Patterns. So the first step is we're going to sew on our facing for our back zipper pocket. So you should have your back main exterior piece and your zipper facing piece. So just read the measurements for where to place your zipper facing. I've already marked it and I've marked my centers. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay the zipper facing right side down onto the right side of the exterior main panel. Okay, and The box has already been drawn onto the back of my facing, and I'm going to sew around this box here. Okay, so I'm going to get started with that. So I know it's hard to see my markings for you, but they're there. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that there. And I'm using a pretty short stitch here. I'm using like a 3.5. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew around the box. Make sure you get in those corners. Okay. I kind of give it one little back stitch in every corner, just for a little extra security in that corner. Okay. And this is why we cut that window out of our stabilizer on the back panel, so that we're not sewing through that stabilizer when we're sewing on our zipper facing. Okay, because then that would be too much bulk. So we're not going to do that. Okay. So we're getting back around. And you can definitely back stitch here, because we're not going to see these stitches later. Okay. So just ready. All right, so you should have that sewn on like that. Now we're going to cut these lines that we've drawn. So we have a line down the middle and then these little V's. We're going to just cut that, and we're going to snip as close to that, to those corners as possible, so that our facing turns in nicely. So I'm just going to make a little snip right in the center. Okay. And I'm just going to use my scissors, and I'm just going to cut right up the middle there till I get to that little point, and then I'm going to cut right into the corner. Do not cut your stitches. Okay, so be very careful. Get close as you can without cutting your stitches. Okay. And then I'll go to the other side and do the same thing. So, as close as I can. So make sure your scissors are pretty sharp. All right. As I'm using waterproof canvas, that already makes it a little bit harder to get it nice and clean. It's so stiff. But what I'm doing now is I'm just pressing, creasing where my stitches are, so that when I go to turn this in, that it looks nice. So now that we have cut out and we have these little tabs here, we're going to turn those in to the back. So I just start by pushing those little tabs, those little triangles in, and then I'm going to just start feeding the facing to the back. And be very careful here. Okay. So just push it into the back, to the wrong side here. And I'm just going to finger press this as I go, because this is vinyl, so I cannot press it with an iron. Okay. And this vinyl is from Your Vinyl Source. I really do like her vinyls a lot. I use them a lot. She has a large variety, and she ships fast. And she's just the sweetest too. Okay, so just pressing that to the back. And if you snipped close enough, then your corners will look nice and neat. Okay, so you got to take some time and really make it look good. Okay, so now we have our zipper pocket window all ready for our zipper. Okay, so I'm just pressing down just so it'll stay, and on the back side it should look like this. Okay, so now we're going to get our zipper pocket pieces and our zipper tape, and we're going to get ready to install our back zipper pocket. So let me grab those pieces, and then we'll come back and sew up the back zipper pocket. So now you should be back with your back main panel, your back exterior pocket, zipper pocket, and your zipper tape and your zipper pull. Okay, so these are the pieces you need to do your back zipper pocket. So take your zipper pocket piece, and we're going to have it right side up, and we're going to lay our zipper tape also right side up on the short ends of one of the short ends of our zipper pocket piece. Okay, and we're going to sew that on. So line up your raw edges, and we're going to sew that on at 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. So now that side has been attached. So flip the zipper tape up, and we're going to bring that up to the other side. So it's still going to be right sides up, both right sides up. Line up the sides of your zipper pocket, make sure they're lined up, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. So we're just attaching both ends of our zipper to the zipper pocket piece. Okay. Okay. And you should have now this little zipper pocket taco. Okay. And you can kind of press this down, and we're going to add some 1/4 inch double-sided tape to both sides. And the other side. Oops. And then install your zipper pull. So just pull it open, pull your zipper open a bit, and then grab your zipper pull, and just make sure it goes on straight. Go on, little zipper pull. Come on. I burnt the end of my zipper because it was fraying, and I think I have a little piece here I just need to trim off. This is getting in the way. Okay, I think that should be better. There we go. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. You know, sometimes the hands just don't want to work, you know. I could just like cheat and then like in the video later, like fast forward and make it look like I did it really fast. But I guess I won't do that. I need you to see the real me. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, so we got that on. Okay. Hey, sometimes it looks great, and sometimes you just, you know, it's just gonna do what it's gonna do. Okay, so now we're ready to bring our main exterior over. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do, because like I said, this is waterproof canvas and it's a little stiff. I'm going to just add a little double-sided tape here just to hold my facing down. So I'm just gonna put just a little bit here so my facing won't keep trying to pop back up. So this just helps to hold it down, okay? So there we go. Yeah. Sometimes things, they just try to defeat us, and then we have to show them who's boss. Okay, so there we go. Let's press that down. Yeah, that's so much better. No need to fuss with it. Okay, so now, okay, make sure your zipper pull is going in the direction you want it to go in. I like to open from left to right. Okay, and I'm just going to center that window right over my zipper. Also making sure it's centered back here some. Okay, should be about the same width as my facing. So that's what I'm judging by. Getting it right in that window. Okay. And I'll lift this up. And that looks centered to me. Got a little goo from my zipper, from my double-sided tape onto my zipper pull. Okay, this wipes off. All right, so now I'm going to take the backing off of my double-sided tape on one side. And I'm going to press that side down to secure it in place. There we go. Make sure it's all laying flat enough. There we go. And lift this side up and do the same thing. Okay, press that down. Just making sure it's centered. Okay. You can adjust it a little if you have to. There we go. Just making sure it's all smooth. Okay, so it should look like that. Now I can just sew it in place. I did shift this over a little bit. Let me shift it back. Let me shimmy it back. There we go. Okay. So now, the first thing we're going to do is sew right across the top. No, don't sew on the sides. Don't sew on the bottom. We're just going to sew right across the top. Okay. Just make sure I press that back in place. There we go. Okay. So the zipper pocket should be laying flat down. and we're just going to sew. So about 1/8 of an inch past the zipper window on each side, and we're going to stop. Leave long tails to pull to the back. No back stitching. Okay. Let's make sure everything's lined up good. Right where you want it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to just drop my needle in about 1/8 of an inch past that zipper window. Top stitch right across the top. And move your zipper pull out of the way. And I'll go about 1/8 of an inch past that window. Okay, and then pull long threads. And I'm going to pull that to the back. Okay, so pull on that thread from the back and you'll get a little loop. Pull that loop up and bring that thread from the front to the back. And do the same thing on this side. Okay, and we're just going to tie those off. And I'll just burn it down a little. Okay, so now we have stitching across the top. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, just making sure it's still nice in place. We're going to bring that zipper pocket up, just like that. So make sure it's up towards the top so we don't sew it closed. And now we're going to stitch across the bottom the same way we did across the top. Okay, 1/8 of an inch. Leave those long tails. Okay, just adjusting it as I go. Just trying to make sure it's even with my other. You can mark those start and stop places if you'd like. Okay. Move that zipper pull out of the way again. Okay. And we're going to stop about 1/8 inch past this side. Okay, there we go. Oops. Okay. And we'll do the same thing on this to tie it off. Okay. So you should have those 2 rows of stitches across the top and bottom of your zipper window. So now you can bring your zipper pocket back down into position, okay? And we're going to pull the sides in, just like that. And we're going to sew down the sides and close up our zipper pocket. So just fold the side back gently, and we're just going to go ahead and sew it up. Sew it closed. And do the same thing on the other side. Fold the front back out of the way. And we're going to sew that side up. Okay. And now we can go ahead and sew and connect these two. Top and bottom, we can sew the sides. Go ahead and top stitch. Again, leaving some tails there to pull to the back. Okay, so we're just connecting the top and the bottom. So put your needle in right where you stop. Okay, drop it in. And then sew over to the other side. And you're going to drop your needle right where you stop there. Okay. So just connecting that up. Okay. So just like that. And then we'll do the same thing to this side. And then we'll tie off those ends. And our zipper pocket is complete. So I'm going to go over to this side. Okay. Take your time. Okay. Alrighty. Now we have sewn completely around our zipper pocket. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly tie these ends off. And we'll move on to the next step. So I'll be back with the next step. All right, so we left off installing our back exterior zipper pocket. You should have a complete pocket and it should look great. Okay, so complete, nice roomy zipper pocket there. Okay, so now the next step is to add the base or the bottom of the bag to your exterior main panel. So you should have both exterior main panels. So this will be the front, and then we have the back, and then we have our base. What I've done is I've marked the centers on the exterior main panels, the bottom, and then I marked all my centers on my base, because you'll need it later. So I did all 4 centers on the base. So we can take one of our pieces. I'll just start with the front and right sides together and lining up those center marks. We're going to clip the base. And I didn't mention purse feet when I was talking about the materials and hardware, because I wasn't doing purse feet this time, but it's an option to add purse feet. So if you're going to, there's going to be a step after this where you can add your purse feet. And she gives you the marks for where to install. So again, I'm not doing purse feet this time, but if you are, there are the instructions there for adding purse feet. Okay, so and you will need 4 of those. So we're going to sew this on at 3/8" seam allowance. Okay, so starting and stopping on the base piece here. So make sure you back stitch. Okay. So once you have that side sewn on, you're going to fold that back, keeping the seam allowance toward the base, toward the bottom, and we're going to top stitch right across that seam. Okay. So we're top stitching on the base piece. Okay. One eighth of an inch. Okay. So now you have the top stitch. You're going to flip it over and attach it now to the other panel the same exact way. Okay. Make sure your zipper pocket is out of the way. Don't sew through that. Okay. I'm going to do the same exact thing, 3/8 of an inch. And again, fold that back, seam allowance toward the base. Make sure it goes toward the base. So underneath, this is what it's going to look like, pressing it toward the base. Okay. And we're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch. Keep my hand up under there and keep it pressed toward the base so it doesn't flip back the other way. Alrighty. It's looking good. All right, so now we have our base. We have our base established. Okay, so now we're going, this is at the point where you would add your purse feet. So she gives you the measurements for marking where you're going to place your purse feet, and you would install your purse feet. You can also, at this point, decide where you want to put your label if you're going to use one. So that's another option of adding a label. I'm going to add one, I believe. I think I'm just going to center it. So I'll figure out where. I don't know if I want it off to the side or if I want it centered. But I'm probably going to add a label. Or I don't know. I might even put it on the back. I'll see. So I haven't decided yet. So the next step is we're going to start making our bow. So I'll gather my bow pieces and come back with that. Okay, so now we're ready to do our big pretty bow. So you should have all 4 of your bow pieces, and then you should have the markings according to the pattern, and the double-sided tape should be added. If you're using double-sided tape, you could also use glue. It's your choice, but I have added double-sided tape on the back of all 4 pieces according to the pattern instructions. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to fold these raw edges in to the lines that we've drawn. So I'm going to start with the binder piece, and I'm just going to remove the backing to the double-sided tape. And there's a line there, and I'm just going to fold to meet that line. And I'll do the same thing. Oh, I already moved that side. I already moved that side. Doo-doo. Okay. So y'all work with me. I had COVID like last week, or yeah, I guess it's all. And so, you know, I'm still moving a little slow here. Okay, so we folded the raw edges in on the binder piece. We're going to do the same thing on all the other 4 pieces. Remove the backing off the double-sided tape. And we're going to fold in those raw edges to meet the lines that we've drawn. Okay, so you've seen me do this in my other video for Mekaposh, where she has you bring these corners in and press them together to make these little wings here. Okay, we're going to do that on all the corners, and then we're going to clip that off. Okay, so when you get to the corners, they should meet up. Okay, meet up in the corners in there. Okay, and pinch them pretty tight. So don't press it all the way down until you have both ends coming together to meet up in the corner. Okay. And one more side. Okay. So now we should have that, and you should have these little points there. Okay. So we're just going to take our scissors here, and we're just going to go flush with that and snip and remove that. Okay, and it goes flying. Okay, and we'll do that with all 4 corners. Okay. Okay. So now you should have a square like that with no raw edges. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead quickly and do the same thing with the other pieces. Okay. I'm just folding to meet the line. I'm going to do on my straight edge first. Okay, and then meet in the middle here. Okay. Right there. I'm just using my fingers to pinch it right in the middle. Okay. Right at the point. Okay. Okay. And we'll snip it. There we go. Okay. And now that piece is complete. And then we have this last one. Okay. Let's start with these straight edges first. This vinyl is from Indo Love Creation, and I like it. It has a texture to it. Kind of makes it look a little shiny. So I thought it would be nice for a bow. Okay. I'm going to make a little snip here, about 1/4 of an inch here, right in these corners in the V part here, so that I could fold that over as well. And then meet these little points together. And there we go. There we go. Alrighty, so now that one's done. We can go ahead and remove these little triangles. Make sure I press that down good. Okay. Alrighty. So now we have prepped all 4 pieces of our bow. Okay. Looks good. We have all 4 pieces of our bow. So now the next thing will be, we're going to take these 3 pieces and we are going to, okay, so it should be this way here. And we're going to fold them in half. Okay. So it should be this way is the shorter way. We want the longer way here. Okay, the longest sides coming together. And I'm just going to clip those. Make sure the corners meet up. And the sides. Okay. So you should have that piece. And then the same thing with this one. Okay. And the sides as well. Alrighty, so that's 2. And then also this piece as well. All right, I had to pause for a minute because I started coughing and I didn't want to cough on camera. So I have folded this side down too. So now we have all our pieces ready. What we're going to do on these 3, we're going to, from the top here where it's folded, we're going to top stitch all around the 3 sides on all 3 of these pieces. Okay. At 1/8 of an inch. So we're starting from the fold, going down across the bottom and back up. Okay. And go ahead, make sure you back stitch. Or you can leave raw edges if you, you can leave long tails if you want and pull it to the back so that you don't see the top stitching. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm just going to go. So make sure that everything is lined up together. Okay. I just thought this bow on this bag was so striking. Like, what a fun bag. Okay. So I'm just going to pull those back and tie that off, but I'll do that in a sec. So you should have top stitching all around. And do the same thing with these. Back up this side. Okay, so that's one, another. And then I'll do the final one here. Be sure it's staying lined up. Making sure my corners are all matched up. There we go. Okay, so now we have top stitched around all 3 pieces. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just quickly tie these threads off. I won't bore you with this. I'll come back and we'll finish up the bow. Okay, so I have went ahead and tied off the threads to the back. So I'm going to set this piece aside and I'm going to take these two. So we're going to find the center. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this just like this and kind of make a little crease to find the center. Okay, so that's about right, like that. So there's the center of that one, and then the same with this one. That, and that's about the center there of that one. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and lay that right on top, matching up the centers. Okay, I think my lines are a little goofy, but that's about the center right there. Okay. That looks about right. Okay. And we're just going to sew right across the middle to attach the two. So try to keep them lined up. So center it best you can. Okay. And I'm going to go right at the center mark. And I'm going to make sure I backstitch very well. Okay. And so right down the middle. All right. So all right, so it should look like that. Okay. Now we're going to bring this in together. Now, if you used a thicker vinyl like me, it's going to be a little tight, but you can still do it. So I'm just pressing this in, just like that. Bringing the middle in. All right, we just gotta get that in like that. Okay. Oh, it seems tight, but I can do it. There we go. All right, just like that. And you start to see the makings of a bow. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, and she says you can use glue to set it in place, but my vinyl's sort of thick, and I'm not sure if the glue is gonna really hold it in place. So I'm just going to take some of my thread, and I'm just going to wrap it around to hold it for right now. Okay. So this is just what I'm going to do, because this part will not be seen. So I'm just going to wrap it a few times. Okay. All right. Should have left it a little longer to tie it off, but that's okay. I'm going to burn them together. There we go. There we go. Okay, so there we go. I just burned the ends of the thread together to hold it. Okay, so that's just going to be my temporary, my temporary hold. And I'll probably add a little glue in there too. But just make sure it's looking the way you want it to look. Okay, that's going to be such a cute little bow. And remember, we have the binder piece here that's going to hide all that. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so now the next part is we're taking this piece, and this is going to be placed right here. You're going to also push this together. So we're pinching it pinching it together like that. And it's going to come up under here. I'm sorry. My vinyl's thick, so, you know, it's just going to have to, I'm going to have to work with it. But you get the idea, right? So that's the way it's going to look. You're just pinching it to make the bow. So, is it looking bowish? So, I'm going to go ahead and keep working. I'm going to tie some more string around to hold it in place and work with it. When you do yours, just, you know, just work with it until you get it as pretty as you like it. And then meet me back here so that I can show you how we're going to attach it. Okay? We're going to start working on our flap. So we'll be back once I get this. Again, I'm going to just tie string around it to hold it in place. And I'm just going to add a couple of beads of glue. I have some Loctite glue. And that's all I'm going to do. So I'll be back.